I'm so excited to share the new Powersheets with you, so let's get into it. Hi guys, my name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, elementary and high school age. I help you implement systems and strategies in order to overcome the chaos and cultivate simplicity in your home and homeschool. I do that here through YouTube, over on my website, townsendhouse.com, as well as in my membership community. If you're interested in checking any of that out, it will all be in the description box. Today is such a fun day because I get to share the brand new 2025 Powersheets with you. I'm so excited. I have not gone through it yet. I am going to share all of my thoughts. I have seen a few sneak peeks through affiliate emails, but I am so excited to share my thoughts with you. So let's get into it. Okay guys, here are the Powersheets. This is how it comes packaged in this lovely hard cardboard box with this sleeve on it. You may know from the sleeve color what cover choice I got. They have already released the cover choices for all of their planners, Powersheets, Fresh Start, and Season by Season. I will put up a picture for you of the cover choices for the Powersheets for 2025. I chose the azalea. It is definitely a little bit outside of my normal color choices. For many years, they had kind of a plasticky, flexible cover, and it was beautiful, like colorful flowers and petals and such. And then they moved to the linen covers, and I have traditionally purchased the greenish bluish variety. Last year, I also went out of my normal and chose this beautiful purple color, and this year bright pink. I've not seen it in person. I'm really excited to see it. So I have 3 videos out today. I'm going to be walking through everything with the Powersheets for 2025. I also have a video walkthrough of both the season by season daily and weekly planners, and another video walking through the Fresh Start daily and weekly goal planners. So I'm going to leave links for all of those in the description box. This video will just be my thoughts on the Powersheets. If I were to try and do all of everything together, it would be the longest video. So I'm going to open this box and we will get started. It comes beautifully packaged. I really like the attention to detail. Oh gosh, this is bright pink. Okay guys, here it is, the beautiful 2025 Cultivate What Matters Powersheets Goal Planner. This is the azalea cover. I don't think I realized how pink it would be. It is beautiful in person. It is almost like, I almost want to say a hot pink color. I really, really like it. And I'm actually pleased with it quite a bit because I chose this Lloydstrom notebook as kind of my goals notebook for the coming year in this navy blue color, so I think they go really well together. So let's open it up. Okay, when you open it up, you see that it has this beautiful floral pocket right here, and it does come with this 2025 at a glance calendar with some of the holidays and a sticker sheet as well with the gold foil, and then, you know, some color coding stickers, some decorative stickers. Very, very nice. And then there is this beautiful My Word of the Year card, which I absolutely love. They took this out a couple of years ago, and I'm super happy that they brought it back because I think that it's really nice to have on display. I actually have mine taped to the wall next to my computer with some pictures of my kids, just to continuously remind me throughout the year what word I choose to kind of guide me throughout the year. Then it says Powersheets 2025 Intentional Goal Planner. This cultivated year belongs to. Now, I did say this in the intro, I have not really looked through all of the pages extensively. I've seen some sneak peeks, but nothing that kind of systematically goes through every page, which is what I'm going to do. So these are definitely my first thoughts, and I'm really excited about it. The first thing that I notice is that the tab colors are a little bit different, and these are really nice bright colors for the tabs. The tabs this year are, I will probably be doing quite a bit of back and forth between my Powersheets this year and the new ones just for comparison. So similar colors, but a little bit brighter almost. I really like the colors a lot. Okay, and this year also they do have neutral options for the tabs. It is the Aloe and Petals covers that have kind of a blush pink tab, so a little bit more neutral. I believe the pages are all the same, still those pops of color on all of the pages, but the tabs themselves are more of a blush pink, neutral-ish color, if that is something that you are looking for. So it says, your fresh start begins here. Welcome to a whole new way of doing life. Uncover what matters, break it down, live it out. They do have their mission over here. This is new this year, a year of progress, not perfection. And it says, your Powersheets journey is not just about setting goals, it's about living a cultivated life. Here's a roadmap for what to expect. And this is taking you through all of your prep work. And there are these little leaf stickers here that you can use to kind of mark your progress as you go throughout your Powersheets. I really like this. I think that it is very nice visually. I think it's really fun to just kind of have a little roadmap to figure out where you're going next. Then there is your cultivated year has just begun. Look forward to these milestones throughout the rest of 2025. January tending list, February tending list, quarterly refresh. So there's just places to kind of check off when you're going to do things. And I think that is a lot of fun. It just gives you more incentive to continue working through things. The next section is brainstorm your year ahead to mark your start. So last year they did not have this brainstorm your year ahead page, and instead they moved right into naming what fires you up, this section. But I like that they brought this back because I think that it's really important to have a place to kind of brainstorm your year ahead before you get into the Powersheets at all. Taking the time to get those thoughts out of your head is very helpful so that you can kind of move forward and think through all of the prep work without things already on your mind about what to do next, and then you can deal with this later. So it says, what do you want to cultivate in the year ahead? Write your goal ideas for 2025. No perfect handwriting required. Dig in and dream. And then you get to the come alive again section. What do you want to cultivate in the year ahead? What are you passionate about? And then coming over here, naming what fires you up. I love all of these sections. I like that it is just blank space. I know that in years past, they've had a lot of dot grid. I prefer just the blank white space personally. I know that some people love the dot grid, but for me, I really like the white space. Then it says, learn from the past. Goal setting is usually about looking forward, but there are rewards waiting for you in the past. I absolutely love a good reflection. And this is one of the reasons that I do keep a separate notebook, because I do a lot of reflection. I like to journal about my year, the highs and the lows, the challenges, the successes, all of that stuff. But I love this section. I love the ability to go through, name the good things, name the challenges, name the lessons that you learned, and especially the gratitude. I think that's very helpful. Then you're moving into evaluate where you are now. And this looks a little bit different than last year. Last year, they had more of these line sections, rectangular sections. In years past, they did have the squares, but last year they had these kind of rectangular sections, and I prefer this a little bit more because I am a list maker, and so I just tend to bullet down in these different areas. I do not necessarily use the Cultivated Life Evaluation categories to set my goals. Instead, what I do is I kind of use these as just a check-in space, and I do that throughout the year. I will give myself kind of a grade to see how I'm feeling in these areas, but I will not necessarily say, okay, I'm setting this family goal, this community goal, this finance goal. Yes, some of these categories line up with my goals, but I use this a little bit differently. You can use it however you want. If you want to use these to set your goals, great. If you want to use these just as a check-in, the same way that I do, that is also fine. I do like that they gave you a blank category. They started doing this last year, and I think that's really helpful because some of us just have different categories. For instance, I always have a homeschool category. And so having this blank category gives me a little bit more freedom to work within these CLE categories. Then you're moving into cultivate your mindset. Have you ever felt like too much or not enough? What you believe about yourself, your life, and the people around you shapes how you spend your time and the goals you achieve. So this is about changing limiting beliefs and turning them into positives and just getting rid of the negative. I really, really like how bright these blocks of color are in this planner, and I love the addition of the florals. I really, really like that. I think they have definitely listened to people asking for more color in the Power Sheets. I really like that they have added these colors. They are so pretty. I definitely would say they're kind of like jewel tone colors. Very, very nice. So after you've figured out what you believe about yourself, it's time to upgrade your mindset, and you're going to list the negative mindset and then change it into a positive mindset. I think that is definitely helpful. Taking the time to change negative thoughts into positive thoughts will just help you move so much farther ahead with your goals. I think it is a really valuable exercise for you to go through. It can be a little challenging, but don't be afraid to Google or look for words to help you figure it out. It doesn't have to be, oh, here's my negative mindset, and then, oh, this is the positive one. It might take a little bit of time for you to figure out how to translate a negative mindset into a positive one, but take that time. It's very much worth it. Then you have name what matters, what will have mattered, what won't have mattered. I love this section. And years ago, when I first started using the Power Sheets, this was so helpful for me to think about what really matters in the long term. What is my most important thing? When you focus on what's most important, it helps you narrow down the things that you need to do to continue building whatever that important thing is in your life. For me personally, it is my relationships with God, my family, and my friends. And so that is kind of the center of all of my goals. And I'm always working towards improvement in my relationships. So I really like this section. And then you move into the yes and no list, which I have talked about for years and years and years. I keep a yes and no list specifically related to my goals every year, but then I also do a yes and no list for my homeschool, and that helps us make decisions on the fly as to which activities we're going to be involved in, the types of curriculum we're going to use, how our days are run, what types of rhythms we want to have in our home, just the overall feeling in our home. I am such an advocate for making the decision ahead of time, writing it down so that in the moment you do not have to think about it. You've already made the decision, so you don't need to think about it again. Now, obviously, there are always going to be times when you may want to adjust your yes and no list, or you may want to say yes to something that you have written down as a no, and that's totally okay. You are fully in control of your life. You're able to say yes and no to whatever you want. But if I can make the decision ahead of time and I do not have to think about it, it just reduces mental load. I know that we've heard so much about mental load in the past several years, but this is one of the ways that I address that. I make the decisions ahead of time so that I don't have to think about it. I don't want to constantly be thinking about decisions, and so if I make them ahead of time, they are done. Then we move into my most purposeful year, and I love this section. It just gives you a chance to condense some of the thoughts that you've already had as you've started the prep work, and helps you get your mind ready for planning your goals. Then you are going to move into another brainstorm your goals section, and this is divided into the CLE categories, again with that empty space, so you can create your own category down here. If you are not setting goals in these specific categories, you could sticker over them or white it out, and you could create your own categories However you want to use this is totally fine. Now over here, they are talking about choosing your focus. And so the way that they lay out goals are in 3 different categories: big dreams, finish lines, and habits. And I know that sometimes people will get stuck on categorizing their goals. Is it a big dream goal? Is it a finish line goal? I just don't know how to manage that, especially if you're new to goal setting. That can be really challenging to move into a system with different terminology. So I was so excited to see that they included QR codes this year for the first time within some of the different pages to give you a little bit more education, a little bit more insight into what this particular section is about. So if you are struggling, you can just scan this QR code with your phone and go to some more information to help you out. And another thing that they do have down here are these little core truths that Cultivate What Matters has come up with, and they are sprinkled throughout the pages, so that just gives you a little bit more motivation. So after you brainstorm your goals, they're going to talk through setting goals that stick. And last year, I believe it was last year, they came out with this new acronym, the Bloom acronym. Break it down little by little, on purpose, on a schedule, measurable. And this is their take on SMART goals. And so you are going to go through this acronym to set your goals. It does have some examples in here, which I think is very helpful, especially if you are just starting out, or maybe you're setting goals in different categories that you're just unfamiliar with. So for example, steward my finances well. There's a Q1 finish line goal, Q2 finish line goal, Q3 habit goal, and Q4 finish line goal. Whereas grow my friendships has a Q1 finish line, Q2 habit, Q3 finish line, Q4 finish line goal. So it's just giving you some examples so that when you're looking at your own action plans and goals, you can break them down into something manageable. Then you get to dreams become decisions when you cultivate them, and there is space for you to write down 8 yearly goals. So you can color code these. I'm not sure how well this will come through on the video, but you can take one of these little flag stickers and color code each of your goals. And then what I actually purchased last year was this color coding sticker book, and it has all kinds of stickers, little dot stickers, little flags, larger flag stickers that you can use to set your goals. I will leave this linked in the description box. It is available now, so you can certainly get this if this is something you think you want to use for your goals. And there are 10 different colors in this rather than just the 8. So, you can always switch up your goals or add different ones later on with different colors. Then this is beautiful. It's time to bloom where you're planted. This is so pretty. I really like this. How do you grow a garden? You tend it little by little. It's the same with your goals. In the following pages, you'll break your yearly goals down into finish lines, habits, and action steps using your goal action plans. Ready to create a simple and strategic plan you can't wait to get started on? Let's go. And so then you are moving into your goal action plans. And I love the goal action plans. I think they're very, very useful. I struggle a little bit when I'm doing my yearly goals to break everything down into seasons, because I kind of feel most of my goals build on each other. So I will mainly focus on the first quarter when I'm doing these goal action plans, and then each additional quarter when I'm doing my seasonal refresh, I break down my goals into new action plans for the next 90 days. You have 8 of these action plans. What I want, write your yearly goal. Why are you motivated to achieve it? What I can do, taking account of the resources needed. I think that this is very important to do, to understand what resources are needed for a particular goal. And the reason that I say that is because sometimes you may need a particular resource that you are unable to have in the moment. And that doesn't mean that your goal is bad. It just means that you're going to need a little bit more time to get to a place for that next step. And so understanding that, very, very important. What does success look like? What might get in the way? How will you have fun with this goal along the way? I think that this is very valuable. It is something that I definitely struggle with within some of my goals. What is the reward for making progress on this goal? Sometimes the reward is just making progress on the goal, but some goals you need a little bit extra, a little bit of fun attached to it, similar to habit stacking. Having something enjoyable to attach to a goal that may be a struggle for you is always nice. Then what area, if you are using the CLE categories, it lists them out, or you can list your own down here. And so if you are not using these specific categories, you can write your own and for each goal action plan. And then this goal includes habits, finish lines, a big dream. You have your 4 seasons where you can put what you want to work on in each quarter. Sometimes I am able to do this. Sometimes it's a struggle. It really depends on the goal and what my plans for the year as a whole actually comes out to be. So, it's goal dependent, I will say. Then what's next? All good things start with one small step, my first step, and when. And that's a little bit different than last year. Last year they had a what I did, mark your progress each season bar down here, but now it is a what's next. So writing your first step for this particular goal, I think that that is very valuable. So you have 8 of these goal action plans. The next section here is pace yourself for success. To everything there is a season in the garden and in your goals. Focus on the first season, spread out your starts, consider your resources. I think this is a good reminder because oftentimes when January 1st comes, we are all in on all of our goals. But in reality, you cannot focus on everything on January 1st. And if you try to, what ends up happening is, you lose motivation a couple of weeks in. That's why there are so many people at the gym, on January 2nd. I wouldn't say January 1st, sometimes January 1st, but mostly January 2nd. And then by January 17th, the gym has cleared out. And it's just because you need to pace yourself. You need to figure out, again, which goal is most important to start with. What are the steps that you're going to be working on first, and how are you going to build on those steps? So this is going to give you some space to plan out each season. And when you look at your year as a whole, you can kind of plug things in. What I like to do here is not only include goal-related stuff, but I also put some of the big events that we focus on throughout our year as a family. And the reason that I do that is because when I have some of those bigger events in here, like birthdays or the holidays or vacations that I know are coming up, it makes me be a little bit more realistic about the time that I have available to me for particular goals. So for instance, in my goal setting, the way that I run my year is January through March is the first quarter. April and May is my second season. That is my spring season. June, July, and August are summer. September, October, November are my last quarter of the year. December is its own thing. I do not set new goals for December. The only focus that I have in December, well, it's not the only focus. So in December, I focus on traditions that we have as a family surrounding Advent and Christmas, and then also focusing on planning out the next year. I know that for me personally, in my stage of life, trying to plan new goals for December is not smart for me. Years ago, I did try to do that, but that was when I had babies, and still I struggled, obviously, because there were so many interruptions. I needed to focus on the things that were most important to me for December, which are traditions, it is Advent, it is just Christmas and holidays in general, family, fun activities that way, and then planning for the new year. And so I do not assign new goals for December. That's just me personally. Obviously, to each person, you can do your own thing. Whatever works best for you is what you should do. So I always will write down, December is family and traditions, and I know I'm not going to have any other time to work on things during this month. I know that April and May, I'm finishing up homeschool and I'm planning my new homeschool year. And so that is very focused on my homeschooling goals those couple of months. And so I can look at my year as a whole and see where I have more space for goal-related things. That is how I use this section, and it has served me well over the years. The next section is make it easy to remember. Keep going. This work you're doing is making a difference. In the thick of it, it's not always easy to remember what matters most. On top of the bustle of life, your brain may rebel when you set a new goal or change your behavior, preferring to stay in its comfort zone. Because of this, you'll need boosts of energy to keep up your momentum throughout 2025. A word of the year and vision board can do that for you. They're two tools to remind you of where you're headed and what matters most as you take steps to make your goals a reality. So for me, and I know that I've mentioned this in the past several years that I have shared the Power Sheets, I typically start brainstorming goal ideas, usually September, October. I do have a couple of things that I already know I want to work on potentially in 2025 that I don't have time for in the next few months. So I have already written those down. But usually before I write my goals, I choose my word of the year. And the reason is because the way that I use my word is as a guiding word. So I look at my goals through the lens of this word. For instance, my word this year was simplify, and it was all about simplifying systems and things in my home. That is how I kind of looked at all of my goals, through that lens of simplify. And so that's what I do. If you want to choose a word before your goals, I think it can be helpful. I started choosing a word back in 2011 or 2012, I think was the first time I did that. And I actually recently just shared a video about how I feel about my word of the year from 2024. I will leave that linked in the description box if you're interested, just how it has served me, how things have changed, and what I'm thinking going forward. Then you have my word of the year and why I chose this word. I really like this page, and it is perforated, so you can take it out and put it somewhere, maybe in your planner, especially if you've already, put this word of the year card someplace else. I like having an additional space for your word of the year. Then you move into the vision board section, and I don't use this in my Power Sheets. I have talked about this a lot in the past, that in January I do vision boards with my kids and we all work on them together. It's not necessarily something that I use as I'm setting my goals, but it's more a representation of the goals that I've already set and things that are going to motivate me throughout the year to continue making progress on those goals. So if you want to do like a big poster board, vision board, you can do that, or you can print out pictures and paste them in here, or cut out pictures, or however you want to do that. I know a lot of people will use Canva to make a vision board, and I have done that in the past as well. So whatever is going to be motivating to you, that is what you should do. And again, this is perforated, so you can take it out and put it somewhere that you will see it. And on the back of that section, it says, live it out. You've uncovered what matters. And then it kind of goes through the next pages. What is the monthly setup for the Power Sheets? You have monthly calendar pages, monthly planning pages, and the tending lists. And again, a QR code, so you can scan that for more resources. And then over here, it talks about how to make a tending list. So it goes through the steps over here: review your goals, sort your action steps, simplify, and focus. And then 3 powerful reminders: you don't need to fill in every line. The goal isn't a perfectly checked off list. Put your tending list somewhere you'll see it every day. And for me, I have a little stand on my bookcase in my office, and that is where my Power Sheets lives. So I see it every time I come into my office, which is often throughout the day, and it just continuously reminds me to keep making progress. So then this next section I think is new. I don't remember seeing it before, and it says, and one more word about perfection: we find joy and abundant life in little by little progress, not overnight success. In a garden, we know there will be dirt, weeds, and faded flowers, and it's the same with our goals. Here we recognize right from the start that there will be setbacks, skip days, and missed milestones. When you set the expectation early that you won't live out a new goal perfectly right away, you won't be thrown off when it happens. When we aim for perfection, we fail. When we aim for progress, we finish. Where have you seen imperfect progress add up in the past? Write down a few reminders of past wins to encourage your future self to keep going even when it feels messy. When my plans don't go as planned, I will remind myself of what matters, make my goal or action step smaller, ask a friend for help, be kind to myself. I think that's a really good reminder as you move into planning out your goals. These dot grid pages are so pretty and vibrant, and this is bright. I love it. I love this color. It is so pretty. So you have your divider page, your monthly divider page with reinforced tabs, and it does have gold foil months here. Then you move into January and you have your monthly reset section, which they renamed these monthly reset last year, which I absolutely love. If you've seen any of my monthly reset videos, you know that every month I set aside time to prep for the month ahead. Part of that is goals. It is not only goals. I have a whole list of things that I work through. I will leave that playlist linked in the description box if you're interested. This gives you a place to write important to-dos, goals to make progress on my calendar, on my mind, and then they have a cultivated life evaluation check-in. I do like that they have made this a little bit more colorful. So it's just a little bit brighter than last year with the cultivated life evaluation check-in. I really like this quite a bit. You move into your monthly calendar, which you could use for anything. You can write dates on here for when you want specific steps to be done, important events, whatever you want to do here. It's just a blank slate. There's no holidays or anything on here, so it's really however you want to use it. Then you move into believe in little by little progress. Achieving our goals often requires changing our habits and behaviors. There is a routines reset here. I think this is a quarterly. Is this quarterly? We'll find out. So then you move into this routines reset, and again, they have a QR code to help you out. I like that they included this because our routines change depending on the season, and it's not just, you know, winter, spring, summer, fall. It can also be, you know, back to school or change in job or moving house or many different things. There can be a number of different reasons that you need to reset your routine. I think kind of doing that seasonally anyways is a good idea. So I really like that they have this. They added this for the first time last year, and I'm glad that they kept it. Then you have a weekly rhythm ideas for the season. There is a section up here for all day, which I think is actually new. Let me see. So last year, the hours started at 5 a.m. and went till 10 p.m. Now they start at 6 and go till 9, and there is an all-day section, which I think is nice. I do think figuring out a rhythm for your week is very helpful. I like that it starts on Monday and goes through Sunday. There's a notes section. If you are really interested in figuring out a good rhythm for your life, I would recommend that you come over and check out my workshop in my membership community on creating a realistic ideal rhythm, because I think that's very helpful. We go through how we're actually spending our days, the time commitments that we already have on our schedules, and how to manage margin and add white space into our days. I will leave that linked in the description box. I love these weekly rhythm ideas sections. Then you move to the break it down section and the tending list. This break it down section was new this year for the 2024 Powersheets, and it was one of the reasons that I moved back into the Powersheets after being out of the Powersheets for a couple of years and just creating my own tending list in my Erin Condren Life Planner. I absolutely love this break it down section. I don't use it as a goal. I will typically put a project and then some of the steps, and then over here it may be a monthly action item, and I don't write all of the steps. I just write whatever is here, and then I can refer to this for the steps that I need to take in order to finish this particular project in a month. This has been so helpful for me this year, and I love that they included it again this year. Then you have your tending list with encouraging words, your priority for the year, monthly action items. I call these projects, my monthly projects, weekly action items. Again, I call them weekly rhythms. They do have rhythms here. And then habits, daily habits that you want to cultivate. So this is such a great space. When I started using attending lists, that was when I started making much more progress. I've always written about goals on my website, Townsend House. I think I started sharing about goals in 2011 or 2012. And before that, in my old blog, My Journey, I used to share goals, and I started doing that in 2006. But when I started incorporating attending list, it helped me be much more systematic about the steps that I needed to take in order to achieve my goals. So I love the attending list. Then at the end, you have a month in review, and this has changed just a little bit. So the month in review from this past year and in previous years would have gratitude, good things, goals that are growing well, what's not working, what I read or listened to, and favorite memories. There are a few different things on the list: favorite memories, action steps I'm proud of, gratitude, goals that are growing well, what's not working, what I read or listened to, song on repeat. And then up here it says, even the smallest steps forward, no matter how imperfect, add up. This month I cultivated what matters, pivoted like a pro and didn't give up, and moving on to a new month. And then there is a blank line to put your own thing there. Then you move into February, and it is the same layout with monthly reset, your monthly calendar, break it down in your tending list. And then let's see what the quarterly refresh looks like. So at the end of March, you will get to your tending list, your month in review, and then you move into your refresh. Your refresh is here. This is your spring refresh. It says quarterly refresh, cultivated life evaluation. So you will go through, you will write down what your previous score was for the different CLE categories, and again your blank one, and what your new grade is, and then you can jot down a few thoughts for each of the different categories. Over here they are now giving you a little more information on how to move forward. So it says, try it, make a plan. Implementation intentions are one of the most widely studied and most known to be effective goal-setting techniques. In fact, a study in the British Journal of Health Psychology found that 91% of people who plan their intention to exercise by writing it down when and where they would exercise each week ended up following through. Your turn. Don't stop at simply choosing your action steps for each week or month. Instead, write down a simple plan for when and where you'll act. And so they give you a couple of examples. There's some white space down here. It says, where have you seen the most growth in your yearly goals this season? Which yearly goals need more nourishment? And then you move into my refreshed goals. So you can either write your yearly goals again here. You can write your quarterly goals, which is what I tend to do. I will write down my seasonal goals here. And then I love that they included this mini action plan page. This is one thing that I absolutely loved in the past and something that I use. It has been a free printable on their website for years. And there was one year, I believe it was 2021, that they had these within each quarterly refresh. And that was my most successful year ever using the Powersheets. And I have been printing out these goal action plans for my quarterly goals since they offered them and they were no longer available. So I print these out every quarter and I fill them out, and I think they are very, very useful. So I'm super excited that they have included them again. And so you have 1, 2, 3, so you have 8 goal mini action plans in the Powersheets for your quarterly refresh. So if you have 8 goals, you can use one for each, or if you're writing, your seasonal goals here, you can write whatever your goal is and then the action steps for you to make progress on that particular 90-day goal. So happy that they have brought these back. Then you have another routines reset, which we saw at the beginning of the year, a section for notes, a new weekly rhythms idea, and then you move into your new month, setting your new goals, your new 90-day goals, and that is how it is going to go. It is the same layout for every month, and then at the end of the quarter, you will have your refresh again. And it does change a little bit, which I really like. The way that they used to have the quarterly refreshes, I don't know if it's been the past couple of years, but in previous years, each season would have something a little bit different to look at, whether it was different ideas on screen-free activities or how to connect more with your community, or different routines that you could try or habits. It just gave you a little bit of something different to think about each quarter. And so they've kind of brought that back a little bit. So keep moving forward, try it, change your environment, and then again, your turn, and they give you some different ideas. And then down here, what can you add to or change about your environment that would make the best choice more likely? And so setting yourself up for success, that's what they're talking about. Again, your refresh goals, your little goal action plans for the quarter ahead, routines reset, notes, weekly rhythm ideas, and then you are moving into July. And so your months run the same: your monthly reset, your monthly calendar, your break it down page, your tending list, your month in review. And then we will look at the quarterly refresh for quarter 4, 2025. Keep moving forward, add accountability. You don't have to go it alone in goal setting when you're trying to get different results than you've gotten in the past, or different results than the people around you. Like-minded community is key. It's worth the effort to spend time with people who are going in the direction you want to go and who will help you get there. It's better when we grow together. That's one of the reasons that I have my membership community. It's so important to me to have that close-knit community to bounce ideas off of one another. If you're looking for more accountability within your goals, I would love for you to come check us out. We are mainly homeschoolers, but there are some lovely women whose kids have grown or who do not have kids currently and are working on their goals. I would love for you to come check us out. There is your turn, find an accountability partner, and then some different ideas. And then how could you add more accountability to your goals? I really like this section. Having somebody to sort of check in with as you're setting goals and making progress is very helpful. It's one of the reasons that I continue to share my goals on YouTube. It does give me a measure of accountability to make progress, because I know that each month I plan to share what I've been working on, whether I've been doing well or whether I've been struggling, and that definitely keeps me accountable. So then you have your refreshed goals for the last quarter, your goal action plans, your routines reset, notes, weekly rhythm ideas. Then you are into October, November, and then your last month, December, which is this beautiful bright pink color. It's a little bit different than what I think of for December colors, but this I think is really, really great. You have your monthly reset, your monthly calendar, break it down, tending list, your month in review, and then you also have your year in review. And this is something that you can fill out throughout the year. So each month you can come in and say what your favorite thing was for the month, or a special memory, or a goal related thing, whatever you want to put here. And then at the end of 2025, you can fill out favorite memory, best thing I read or listened to, best new habit, person I'm most grateful for, most memorable adventure, song on repeat, milestone, best meal or recipe, biggest change, most surprising, most beautiful sight I saw, best blank. And then there's some notes sections. So if you want to either take notes as you're going throughout the year, or again, this would be a great place to start brainstorming for the next year. I won't even talk about 2026. Well, I just mentioned it, but don't hate me, guys. So that is the end of the Power Sheets. There is a little bibliography in the back talking about atomic habits, which I absolutely love, and then a couple of articles or studies that they highlighted throughout the Power Sheets. That is the end of the 2025 yearly Power Sheets goal planner. I am so excited. This is bright and vibrant and very happy. I think it's going to be a great year. I really like the changes that they've made, especially the adding in of those mini goal action plans. That was a lot, I know. I didn't even talk about the coil. It is the same coil, this gold coil, gold corners, gold accents throughout. This is such a great tool for goal setting. If you have questions about anything that I talked about, please let me know in the comments, or you can email me. My contact form is always in the description box. Again, I will have those other 2 videos also going live today, so if you want to check out the Fresh Start Daily or weekly goal planners, or the season by season daily and weekly planners, you can find those links in the description box. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks guys, bye.